This is the Oz report for November 2nd, 2024. It's been a couple of weeks since we had some because of the CSM race and everything. Thank you for everyone that voted for me, by the way, and happy to serve another term there. So what happened this week on the EVE Online markets? We have raw moon materials down 3.5%. That is quite big if you look at what we have been seeing. What has happened in the past months is that we saw the introduction of passive moon mining through Metanox moon drills, which led to very sharply dropping raw moon material prices, at least in some of them. Lately, there has been a patch or two where Metanox moon drills overall have been made more expensive to run, and so in the long run, this should counteract or make less profitable some of the moon material categories in terms of R4, R8, R16, and so on, impact their profitability. And so what we're seeing here is that overall, they went down another 3.5%, moon materials. They're not dropping as fast as they used to, but they're also not rising immediately again. So that's going to take some time. When we look at specific items in a second, then we're going to see some of the moon materials that are moving, the specific moon materials that are moving a little bit more. Otherwise, we're seeing a lot of red here, a lot of things dropping, except for ice. Ice still went up 2%, even though it was already trading at 40% over yearly average, and that is still the move up in progress. And I don't think the Goon move up from Delft to Tenerife is completely over yet, or at least we're still feeling the effects in the market, and so ice products and specifically isotopes are still very much up. If we're looking at Plex and Plex adjacent items, we see Plex is down 0.6%, but let's actually go into the game client here to look at that, because it's a little bit misleading to just look at those 2 points from last week to now. Because if you look at the in-game graph, you clearly see that that peak that we saw has leveled up. So for the first time in a month or so, we're actually seeing Plex prices coming down a little bit. If you're looking at the current price, it's about 5.6, 5.7 sell price in JITA. And that is a little bit down, but still serious, still high, still an issue. And so if we're looking at the other Plex and Plex adjacent items here, for example, large skill injectors, those you see a very light downward trend in the last couple of weeks, which is interesting because we actually should, if you're looking at the skill farming profit, which is highly negative right now for most scenarios, we would see large skill injectors in the long term going back up again. The fact that they're going down now is more of, I think, skill farmers liquidating large skill injectors and trying to buy skill extractors to then keep the farms going. Because overall, I think we have a lot of skill farms in activity right now because of the long period that it was profitable. And so what we're seeing right now is people liquidating skill injectors. In the long term, right now, the upward trend should probably be more up. And so now, possibly if you need large skill injectors in a larger quantity, probably a good time to buy them right now. But overall, these don't move these don't move a lot overall, right? They're quite steady. If you're looking at the last year, they're moving here between like 850 and 930 million. Skill extractors, on the other hand, we see massive movement always in skill extractors because we have those sales that go on. We have 2-for-1 sales on multiple occasions, and we have various packages that include skill extractors. And so what we're seeing here is we're still in recovery mode from the last sales. Typically, the typical prices in the past year have been between 450 million and 600 million, and right now we're at about 550 million with no sale going on right now. But we also haven't seen a massive extractor sale going on. So quite possible that there is one on the horizon. A 550 million level hasn't stopped CCP of doing this in the past. So we see here in April, we saw a 2-for-1 sale, which made the price drop in a massive scale. So we'll see what happens there. Possibly, I mean, we have Thanksgiving coming up, Black Friday, so there might be something big on the horizon there. Let's look at things that were trending up and trending down in the Oz report. Let me actually move over here. If we look at things that like items over 5 billion in daily trade volume that are trading much higher than last week, for example, we see technetium here up 17% as a raw moon material. Interestingly, also, we're seeing a lot of haulers and industrial ships. So the crane is up 40% in price. That's the blockade run, the Kaldari blockade runner, I think. Then the Nomad, a jump freighter, up 17%. So that still indicates a lot of people moving things. So I don't know if that is also the Goon move up, possibly on the Nomad, on the jump freighter, but also could be just people hauling loot from the 90% PvP drop event that we just had. Other than that, lots of Dead Space modules here. You see Corelli A-Type, 5MN Mark Warp Drive, Pith X-Type EM Shield Hardener. They're both up, 17%, 25%. That's pretty massive. I don't know if that is AT related because we did have that last week, or if it's people PvPing for the 90% drop again, or building fits for the event. But there is a pretty massive impact there. Plasmonic metamaterials are up 50%. This is a reaction material that is used a lot for the torrent and the deluge. If you look at like where does this material gets used the most in terms of daily trade volume, then torrents and the deluges are definitely one area. If we look in the game client here and look at those two ships specifically, we are seeing their price fluctuate quite significantly. And right here, if you look at the deluge and the torrent, they both had peaks 2 weeks ago. So we did have a week or two ago those prices spike. So probably also people jumping more on the production of them. They were already very, very, very popular, and so that'll very quickly also have an impact on raw materials. So that's one theory of what could be happening there with plasmonic metamaterials. Other than that, if we go to items that are trending down this week, interestingly, Fullerite C32s, gas cloud, 17% down. Fullerite C32s, that's wormhole gas. That is quite significant. That typically happens when somebody goes in and one of the big wormhole corps exports their gas and dumps it all on the market at the same time. So that could be happening there. And then we are seeing some low grade moon materials here. Evaporite deposits down 20%, and platinum down 12%. So those are moon materials that are dropping quite significantly. Siege modules 2 down 17%. They're just coming from a very high level. And then same with Arcators. So the Arcators, what are they? Arcators? Arcators? I don't know. Tell a German how to pronounce that. But that's another industrial ship that is bouncing up and down a lot. This is the Galente blockade runner, if I know. Arcator is what Low Dispace is saying. All right. If we're looking at things that are trading in very high volume this week, we see the 0-point field manipulators. They're trading in high volume, but they're also very much just dropping in price massively, right? If I know we've talked about those before, but if we look at If we look at these are looted. These are abyssal loot, right? Not from a distal dead space, but from Pochven overall. I think, right? Pochven sites, also Pochven wormhole exits probably, and they've just been dropping a lot. The demand is just not there. They're oversupplied, and so this is put a big dent on the value of abyssal loot there. But also these are used in tier 2 Triglavian ships, like for example the Ikatursa, and you can see that the Ikatursa here also has been dropping in price similarly to everything else, or similarly to the 0 point field manipulators. So other items here. Oh yeah, the Pyrolencia drugs, guys. The Pyrolencia drugs, they dropped from the event, and so if you're looking at stocking up on these right now, is a very, very good time. They're back to pre-expansion prices here. And so Agency Pyrolencia dose 1 is the one we're looking at, but they're all pretty much look like this. Good time to stock up on them. A lot of them are probably going to rise in price again because we don't have that many events anymore dropping them. And they are very popular, especially at this price. Now, let's move over to the right side. What's in short supply over here? In short supply, Plex is an issue. So we have 0.2% Plex only. Yeah. 0.2, sorry, not percent, 0.2 trade days available on Plex only. That is very, very little. There's high demand for Plex and there's no supply left pretty much in JITA. So this is why the Plex price is so high. We talked of some of these other things. The RIA here, another jump freighter. And so or a freighter, I should say. Is it the RIA? I don't know, freighter, jump freighter, one of the two. And also in very short supply. And the one that's very worrisome as well is the Mexilon. So Mexilon is the basic mineral that is in short supply now because people are using Methanoxes instead of traditional moon materials, and so the moon mining, and so Mexilon is up to, I don't know, around 90, where it used to be around 40 or 50, and it's a very basic building block of the EVE economy, and so that's one of the side effects of passive moon mining being introduced. Interestingly, also here, if we're looking at medium core defense field extender, that's probably the most popular rig in terms of trade volume in EVE Online. It's a tier 2 shield rig, and it trades at about 25 billion a day, I think, if memory serves me right, and only 0.6 are available. So if you're into rig manufacturing, this moves very, very quickly, and anything that you build now, if you can build it profitably, these are going to move very, very quickly. Other than that, largest drop in supply, again, the RIA jump freighter here, they're just being bought up, probably because of the Goon move to Tenerife's again. And I think underpriced, I would say the moon materials aren't surprising because they are down because of Metanox moon mining. Same with the silicates here. The Orthrus is a faction ship, the Nestor as well. Those are just trading undervalued because their blueprints were changed in June. Same with the Stormbringer, but the Stormbringer is also was losing in popularity because it used to be very much a go-to ship for ratting, but it is less so now than it was. All right, and that's it for this week. Again, thank you all for voting me back into the CSM. Much appreciated. And we're going to return to the regular show right now, but we're going to see you on the AS report next week.